In today's video, we're going to talk about a very simple and practical tip to help you manage stress and decrease stress in your life. And that's the practice of becoming more mindful. I'm going to explain to you what that means in just a moment. But first off, I want you to listen to me right now and hear if this is true in your life. There are many things that happen in our lives, these external circumstances. And sometimes things stress us out, other times we're fine. What's the difference? Well, it's our relationship to the things that happen that dictates whether or not we're stressed. And we do know that when the body's in a stress state, when we feel that anxiety, we feel the increasing tension in our bodies and our muscles, our mind is worried about the future, this increases cortisol. It raises these stress hormones that is terrible for our health. It squashes our immune system. It decreases our ability to heal. It dysregulates our blood sugar. Quite frankly, our bodies can be stressed and our minds can be stressed, but we're meant to be stressed for short periods of time, not chronically. And today we live in a world where people are chronically stressed, and quite frankly, it's taxing your lifeline. And I want to give you a tip today to help you decrease that stress and to become more peaceful and present in your life. And this is the practice of mindfulness. Because look, if we took 10 people and put them in a stressful situation, half of those people would get really stressed out, half of those people would be fine. The situation's the same, so what's the difference? Well, those that can stay relaxed, they have a different relationship to what's happening. They're typically a lot more in their bodies. They're not worrying about what's happening in the future. The mental chatter's not as big. They're a little more mindful. They're a lot more present. And as a consequence, their physiology is completely different. So we want to cultivate this practice of being present and joyful and more relaxed in our everyday lives. And I said it's a practice because it's not like you can just say, I want to become more peaceful and mindful and it happens automatically. No, it's because we have these habits of the mind that constantly stress us out. We need to unwind those habits through a practice. And this is what mindfulness means to me. And I want to share with you some ways you can actually become more mindful, become more peaceful, have a longer and happier life as a result of this. And I also want to say before I get into these practices that if you don't tackle this stuff and you're constantly going throughout life, still trying to focus on healthy eating and exercise, being stressed all the time in the background, you're really trying to push a giant rock uphill. On the converse, the people that live the longest are able to stay relaxed, and those people oftentimes have a mindfulness practice, whether or not they're conscious of it. So here's a couple ways. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Are you starting to think about all the things you have to do during the day? Are you reaching to check your phone and look at the kind of messages or emails? Are you immediately thinking about your kids and stuff needs to be done? Well, I want you to introduce this simple practice of becoming more mindful in your body. When you wake up, the first thing I want you to do is take a nice deep breath and feel what it feels like to breathe through your nose. And do this right now as you're listening to me. Take a deep breath through your nose and feel what it feels like to feel that oxygen come in through your nose. What you're doing is you're taking your awareness and you're getting it into the body. You're becoming more present just by watching the breath. You're starting to check in with your body. And as a pro tip, I want you, as your feet get out of bed and touch the floor, pay attention to which foot touches the floor first, your right foot or your left foot. This may seem simple and trivial, but what you're doing is starting to retrain your mind to focus on every little bit of present movement action. And what this is going to do is translate to more presence later in the day. So you get up, you take those few conscious breaths, and you're aware that you're starting your day a little more consciously. Now, when you're eating throughout the day, how can you eat with more mindfulness? Most people I know when they're having food, they're just shoveling it in. They're thinking about the next thing to do. Maybe they're chewing a little bit, but they're swallowing food. Their digestion's off, and they're never really present with the tastes and the sensations. And we do know when you chew your food properly, you're getting better digestion. You're actually going to enjoy the meal a lot more by being present. And the thing about our bodies is they do require food. So it's a perfect example and a perfect anchor multiple times a day for you to slow down just for a little bit. Maybe the meal takes you 3 more minutes to eat. That's okay, but now you have a mindfulness practice. So what I want you to do is when you take a bite of food or you drink that smoothie, taste the food. Take a minute to really chew, to breathe, to connect. Because connection is really what we want in our lives. We want to connect with our kids. We want to connect with our work. We want to connect with our inner joy. And connection means we are present and we are with the things in our lives. Wholly, we are there with it. So when we're chewing our food, we're connecting with the flavors and we're making ourselves become more mindful to the moment. And this is a very powerful practice. You're going to feel better, you're going to relax a lot more, and your physiology changes when you do this. So mindful eating and chewing more is a great practice. Now, breathing. Again, just like our bodies need food, we're constantly taking in this breath. We don't even need to think about it. In fact, there's these areas of the brain that are constantly keeping our breathing circuits going. And the breath is so powerful because it gives us an anchor to come into and to focus on as we're doing things. So right now, as you're listening to me, focus on your breathing. Take half of your attention and focus on what it feels like to breathe, and take your other half of your attention and focus on listening to me. You can do these two things simultaneously. So what happens if you're going throughout your workday, instead of allowing that other 50% of your mind to just go crazy thinking about all sorts of wild things or responding to the next push notification, if you can have 50% of your attention just anchored in observing your breath, feeling your body, and you're still doing work. So this is a way to bring mindfulness into your everyday work. Now, whether or not you're working, let's say you go and you decide to exercise. What if you can take half of your attention and do the motion, and the other half of your attention is focusing on your breathing patterns? You are anchoring yourself presently in the body through the breath. And when you are present, you are not thinking and worrying about the future. You are in the here and the now. You get into this flow state. And when you're in flow state, you feel very good. You feel connected. You feel alive. And the breath is a perfect anchor for getting you into that. And of course, this mindfulness practice can get even deeper for you. With whatever prayer, spirituality practice you have, meditation, whatever that is for you, you can even bake this into your day in the morning and the evening like I do, where you sit down, you get present in the body, you start to feel what it feels like just to be alive without all the thinking, and it really helps you become more present. And then you can bring this quality into your life. Now, I'm just going to straight out say it. You may notice, because I've shot many of these videos and maybe you've watched them for some time, that I have the ability to speak with pretty much continuously, and I have the ability to become present and connected with this. I'm not doing this off accident. It's because I'm very present in my body as I'm doing this. It's because I practice mindfulness that gives me the ability to connect and share with you in this way. And you have the same ability. You might even be better at it than me. But the point is, this is a practice that we can continuously do. This is a practice we can teach our kids. In modern society right now, with all the Bing notifications, this and that, the crazy distractions, is trying to draw you out of your center. Come back to your center. Come back to mindfulness. When the feet touch the floor in the morning, when you breathe during work, when you exercise, and when you chew, come back into your body, feel the presence, feel the peace. Your physiology is going to change. Your outlook on life is going to change. This is the simple stuff that's so important. We call ourselves human beings, not human doings. Being is present. Become more present in your body. Your health will benefit. I hope you found this video valuable today, my friend.